Hello there,
Hey,
wrestling
friends,
fans.
and
All
welcome
right.
to episode 93 of Dudes at Ringside podcast. Now introducing our guest, the Golden Girls' favorite wrestler, Jerry Scar. Welcome, Jerry. Welcome to Dudes at Ringside podcast. How are you?
How are you doing, Joe? What's up, Metal Geek? By the way,
Um,
so sorry for earlier. I'm deeply, deeply sorry. We had an issue earlier trying to get on the podcast, and me living in the 1980s, technology and stuff does not work in my favor. So, for anybody that had a mistimed conception, we're gonna completely retcon that and say, welcome. I'm honored to be here. Thank you guys so much for inviting me.
no problem. No,
From
thanks
your
for coming, Jerry.
It's my
yes.
pleasure.
So, if our fans are not familiar with you, introduce yourself.
Well, as many of you do not know, I am the Golden Girls' favorite wrestler, have been for 3.5 years now. I've cut my teeth and started training at Pro Wrestling 2.0 under the tutelage of Alex the Pug Porto. I've had so many trainers coming in and out of that school, from Cedric Alexander to Coach A Steele to Deanna Perrazio to
Wow.
so many names have come through that school, and I'm very blessed and honored to have been a part of that. And coming up soon, there's not much detail about it right now, but Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, my home promotion, is opening up a wrestling school, so I will be going there, and the date is not set in stone, but it is on the horizon. So anybody that's local in the Florida territory, or if you're out of state, like in Pennsylvania or in New York, like these guys here, honestly, it's going to be something special for sure.
Awesome.
So, how'd you get the gimmick, the Golden Girls' favorite wrestler?
Well,
How'd you
so
go?
the Golden Girls gimmick, actually, believe it or not, was a brainchild of Alex Red and Jason Dugan. They were the ones that kind of came up with the character for me. It's kind of a funny way of how that happened, actually. Let me get cozy. Let me just get a little, little goose, little goosey goose. So back when I was starting to train, like my very first year, and I had only started as a referee. I only refereed for so many names, and like we were all like together as friends, like before Atomic even got big to where it is now. So we were on our way to a road trip to a WrestleMania, the one up in New Orleans. I think
I
it
was there. I
was.
was there.
Oh yeah, yeah, that
Yeah,
was one of my favorite ones.
that's my favorite one too. I mean, everybody. I mean, the WrestleMania, it could have been horrible, but
No.
that experience was probably one of the best experiences
Oh, it
going
was
to the
awesome. I mean,
World.
like compared that one to WrestleMania 33, actually WrestleMania 33 was a high school graduation parting gift to me, so that was really nice.
Yeah, I went to
Yeah,
33 too, so and
oh, 33
35.
was awesome. I
So
loved
yeah.
every bit of it. But anyway, so the Golden Girls character came about when, and keep in mind, I didn't have much money in my pocket at this time. Like I was making like little peanuts of dollars just because I wanted to go train and wrestle more than anything in the world. I even brought like a little food bag with me. So it's pouring out rain on the way over there, and I'm drenched. I didn't bring that much change of clothes. I was literally wearing like a pair of jeans, a jacket with no t-shirt on, and flip flops. So I'm already, I'm looking forward to this trip already. So already, so we went inside Walmart, and I remember like freezing, like it was like cold in there, and I was just like begging for a t-shirt, and my jacket got completely soaked, so that didn't help matters. So we go into the clothing section. I walked with Jason, and I remember like we were going through the t-shirts and stuff like that, and I picked up a Golden Girls t-shirt. Kind of just looked at it, and I was like, huh, that'd be a really cool gimmick one day. So I put the shirt on and kind of just walked out the door and haven't looked back since.
So just because you walked around with a T-shirt, that's how I came up with the gimmick. That's freaking awesome. Yeah.
Well, I mean, not just that, but like I also had I bought the Golden Girl pants, and I kind of started to watch the show a little bit more because my mom used to watch the show. She also used to
Okay.
watch a lot of the old 60s, 70s, and early 80s TV shows, and the Golden Girls was one of them. And I knew Betty White at the time. I remember she was like on the horizon for this Alien movie, and pretty much that was how I was introduced to Betty White. So, and the whole Golden Girls thing and the whole character kind of just morphed into its own, really, and like especially where it's at now, there'd not be. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it at all. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to have two guys that just saw me put on a t-shirt and they thought, gimmick, we got something.
All right, so. Now you said that you're the Golden Girl's favorite wrestler. Now, who's your favorite Golden Girl? You'd say.
Well, my favorite Golden Girl, and I'm not just saying this just because, but Rose. I mean, Blanche. Don't get me wrong. Blanche is very, very out there, very outspoken. You know, a bit of a slut. Well, I'm not saying. You know what I mean. No, I would never. I never. No, Rose is one of my personal favorites. Honestly, she has such a relatable character of being so naive and dim-witted that it kind of resonates with me. Almost kind of how I portray myself as a wrestler. Like I'm very, very goofy, very, very naive. I guess you could say. I mean, some people even call me delusional, but I don't know what they're talking about. But you know, I'm here in Miami. You know, just cutting teeth. Making ends meet somehow. You know, I actually heard a rumor that that whole show was based off of drug dealing. It's weird to say that. Like, yes, really? This is I'm a big Golden Girls fan theorist here. If you look at all the dialogue and actually like understand, like if you notice how Sophia goes back to Sicily 1922 and all this other stuff, it's all about drug deals. I know in the background of like where they used to sit at on the table and eat their cheesecake and just talk about their nonsense and stuff like that, that there's actually like a penis cake holder in the background. I actually had to go back and look at a few episodes and I was like, oh my God, this is a real thing. No wonder they're old. I mean, all together. It's that fucking thing right there.
well, I think that Maud could have been the drug dealer the whole time. The drug
and that would have made sense. No wonder he
the older lady, you know, she could have been the one that says,
"Oh, Sophia, yeah, she could have been the one. She could have been the brains behind the whole situation." Yeah. No wonder she came in.
He's the one that they listened to. The girls didn't do nothing without the older one. She was like,
she could have been on the phone. She could have been on the phone, passing all the deals left and right here and there, and kind of just
think about it. We're doing this whole setup now with the golden.
Makes you really wonder. It makes you really wonder.
Like she's the one that says, "If you're not here by 5 o'clock, we'll break your knees." Where's the money?
Right. That's true. Hey, I mean, shoot, she was an old woman. She had that cane.
Yeah, she'll beat the snot out. She has that mouth. She's like, think about it. Back in those days,
yeah, those buggy eyes too.
And selling you a block of crack.
but the ironic part about all of that is that she was the youngest one on that show. Like they
really,
they dressed her up so well, like an old lady, that she actually was like she was the youngest one of the group on that show, and somehow Betty White out trumped all three of them in lifetime. So I mean that's saying a lot, really. Like that's funny. Phenomenal.
That my mod is freaking out now, and the ever so Spiffy's freaking out. And now she's like, "Nah, I gotta go watch it again."
I'm gonna have to reruns now.
She goes back and looks at all the episodes. Oh, they talked about this.
He was right.
He did this. The Murder Mystery episode is one of my personal favorites. I recently dug it up. It really was quite a sight sore eyes. I still actually have to finish it, but the way that Dorothy broke down like the actual, murder mystery and how such and such stabbed person right here, someone got jealous right then and there, and the ending was coincidence. Do siblings stay apart? Kind of thing. So I don't know. That just kind of resonated with me in my own little world.
Deacon's gonna be the heel of the podcast right now, and I'm gonna say this: I never watched that show ever. So.
I'm like more like this Saturday morning cartoon 80s 90s guy.
It's okay. I love Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes or Tom and Jerry?
Looney Tunes. I'll watch both.
Okay. I watched more Tom and Jerry, but Looney Tunes was kind of like my Saturday morning in a sense. I mean, Scooby Doo is another one of those too. Like that.
Definitely Scooby.
Yes. No, I mean, how can you hate Scooby-Doo for crying out loud? I mean, like, he's still relevant and still making movies to this day.
He is.
That's incredible. I mean,
it's like,
well, we finally got the crossover after like 20 years with him and Courage the Cowardly Dog. So I mean, like, that's got to be something, right?
His phrase lives on forever on Dudes at Ringside because whenever something goes wrong, I always go Roach.
Ruh-roh. I'm wondering if the dog noises, if we get any louder, my German Shepherd will bark. But I don't think I'm allowed to say that right now.
We love dogs here at Dudes at Ringside, so you'll be safe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite dog?
I have a Dachshund.
Oh, okay.
I also like other dogs too. I'm a fan of like Huskies and also like Bulldogs.
Oh, I love Huskies and Bulldogs. I'm a big Wiener Dog fan, actually. Wiener Dogs are my all-time favorite. I
had two, but when I was going to see Geek last month, we had to put one of my Wiener Dogs down. She had a brain tumor.
I'm so sorry.
And Geek got all mad at me because we had
Rebel
Kel, which is a really sweet.
Oh, I know her. I've seen her stuff actually. I know she isn't she did a tour on Japan when I saw her stuff.
She was telling me that she met Hana Kimura and everything on the podcast, and she met her mom and everything. So,
well, that's awesome. Yeah, I've been a follower of her stuff. She seems like a cool person.
Yes, we had Rebel when I was going there, and I was sad because I was gonna probably be at Geek's house early, and then we had to do that for Honey and got there late, and even Rebel's like, it's okay, Joe, it's okay, it's a family emergency. I was like, yeah, it was a rough day. It was a rough day.
Sorry. Well, that kind of hurts me now too.
She's at peace though. She's at peace.
That's good.
She was the happy one in the house. That's why I said she was the happy one.
We know we have Mini Golden Doodle. That's Rook, the famous mascot right there.
Dexter, and we have Dexter, the short-haired wiener dog. That's Mr. Serious. Dexter is Mr. Serious in my house. Like, Dexter actually, he's named for the serial killer.
Oh, yeah. Dexter Loomis.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the
TV show?
Yeah, Dexter. I got you. I actually like it. I love Dexter. That's a really cool show.
That's why he was named Dexter, because my sister is obsessed with that show. I tell people if I ever get a dog, if it's a girl, Nev, because Nev Campbell.
What's your dog's name? Is a question ever Spiffy just said. Storm. Her name is Storm. She is a German Shepherd. She is not a service dog yet. Well, she is technically a service dog, but she is a what's it called? I can't think anymore. I feel like I'm getting older now as I talk and say more sentences. No, she's actually she's an E-dog. He helps. She's an emotional service dog, so she helps out with that comfort, that knowing of that she's going to be there and help protect and stuff like that. So I mean, she's a sweet. She has a lot of separation anxiety for sure. I mean, like, she still isn't used to everybody in the house kind of like leaving and stuff like that, so she kind of has to get put in her cage, and it's like kind of going like, hey, we go through this all the time. Everything's gonna be okay. Don't worry, I'll be back as soon as possible. And she still barks.
Every dog that thing. My dog Dexter was like that when we got rid of, when Honey passed. She for a few days he was kind of like, he walked outside shaking, like looking around, like, what did you do to her? Where'd she go? Like, dogs don't know
and everything like that. Yeah,
they don't know what happened. So yeah, we've had quite a few rising stars in the indie scene on our podcast.
We have a lot of rising stars. A lot.
We've had.
I was gonna say, I've seen some of the interviews that you guys have gotten the chance to actually do. I know you guys have Devlin coming on the show soon next Friday.
Yeah.
So she's someone to watch out for sure. I know her original she was originally trained by Dory Funk Jr. and then she came over to my school at 2.0 when the pandemic first broke out. So
yeah. There are quite a few big people. We had Ashley Dembois. She was really cool. Ashley Dembois.
Davian.
Not America's Sweetheart. She's from the East Coast. We've also had Little Mean Kathleen from Boston. She was funny. Oh my god.
Oh, okay.
If you have to do an intergender tag team match, we would suggest you to get Little Mean Kathleen because she is the funniest.
Well, now hold on a minute. Nobody can replace Pamela, okay? No one can replace her from my intergender tag team partner.
Like,
now, so ever since that intergender tag team match I did with her against Chrissy Vane and now known as Jody Morton, she got destroyed during the match. The nerve of those two to just go out, pick Pamela's lifeless body up, and toss her out for Destiny to go and catch her really shook me. I was angry. And,
I'll get you, Destiny. Why would you do that to poor Pamela?
And Jerry. And Jerry, too, right?
Yeah. Poor Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, like, shoot, that mentally broke me. I mean, next thing you know, I go to pick her up, and I'm in the ring with her, and I'm, like, trying to canoodle her. Chrissy Vane just comes up and kicks me right in my back, and fucking, yeah. So, that happened.
We have quite a few people that I think you would be able to get in a match with. We had, but he's a big dude.
I have a list of names. I mean, shoot, I already listed a top 5 list of names. I really wanted to work so bad. I mean, Matt Cardona is on the top of my list for sure. Ziggy Dice is another one. Effie is a big one.
I heard of Effie. A lot of people know Effie all over. She's all over.
Listen, once you get some Effie in you, you cannot get it out of your system. And I actually, Effie, he's one of the coolest guys that I've gotten to meet, the chance to meet. And, who knows? Maybe like one day our paths will cross. Effie can get some of this ass. I mean, not, you know what I mean? I mean, not like, hold on a minute.
Rewind. Reset. There's
actually, I don't know if you guys have gotten the chance to interview him yet, but do you guys know Cal Harrow? The fanny pack kid?
No.
He is, he was trained by Al Snow, great kid, and he literally was like breaded in the business. Like, he's someone that I think you guys would be interested in interviewing, in my opinion.
We're actually having Al Snow on the podcast in November. So, yeah.
Well, sure, that'll be pretty cool.
I lost my ever-loving mind, Jerry, when I got that email back. I was like,
"Oh, Al Snow? Al Snow's, from what I've heard, he's a really cool dude. Honestly, I personally, I've never personally met him, obviously, but I've seen him from back in the day when he had Head, and freaking that thing was just wild. I actually got back when I look back and watch some of his older stuff of like when he was in the Job Squad and like how he started that up and just kind of schizophrenic, freaking going out there and wrestling himself and putting and moonsaulting himself through a table. I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy?
And when he comes on, I told Geek and we both agreed this, like in our brain, Pinky sweared, like Al Snow comes on, maybe 1 or 2 questions, and we're just gonna let him go, let him tell.
All the whole stories, the whole show.
All the stories. That's all we're gonna do. Let him tell all those fun stories.
Yeah.
And if you have any stories, Jerry, just go for it. We'll take it.
I mean, shoot. Like I've had this. I think there's a couple stories I think I got off the top of my head. There was this one recently. Oh, this is a good one. So MegaCon is one of the biggest conventions to happen in Orlando. Like, there's a lot of celebrities out there that come from TV shows, movies, and all that stuff. The last one, this year I didn't get to go, but the couple years before, Stephen Amell, who did the Arrow, was on there. Both Supermans, the one from the Arrowverse and the one from Smallville, which that was a personal favorite show of mine. Freaking Zachary Levi was there and all this stuff. So Jason Dugan's one of my closest friends in this business. I'll say that right now. His friend works in the con industry, and he was able to get him a job over there, and in turn give me a job as well. And I remember we had to be there early in the morning, and like Jason's a big fan of Stephen Amell. I don't know if he's told you that or not. He loves watching the Arrow. So we get there. There's two different sections. There's an east side and a west side. The east side is where you need to enter in, park your stuff if you're a worker there, and then there's the west side. The west side is kind of where it's a longer entrance, and you kind of have to walk all the way over there and get through the stairs and go through all the buildings and stuff like that. We went the wrong way. We went the west side. So, so as we're going in, and we're trying to rush there too, and we were like, I think we were like a few minutes late or whatever. Jason was the first person to go in after me. He goes inside. They told him because he was guaranteed Stephen Amell's booth. That was what was promised to him. He was supposed to get Stephen Amell's booth, and he was supposed to go and watch it for him. They told him and run everywhere. They made him go be a flag guy for all the photo booths. They had to make him go pick up such and such and do this, that, the other. Oh, it was bad. But and this is the funny part. I'm just coming in, and they made me take his spot because I guess like one of the coworkers was like not there or something.
You kind of cut Jerry. You kind of cut off a little bit before.
Oh, so. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you went to the wrong entrance. You were saying something like that.
So we go to the wrong entrance. Okay. So we go to the wrong entrance, and Jason was the first person to get there. I had to drop him off at like somewhere a little bit closer in between. So he goes in, and they told him, "Oh, well, since you're a few minutes late, you got to go do this now." They made him become a flag guy for the photo booths. You know, like how flagmen direct such and such people to go like this way or go that way. They made him sit in front of like few thousands of people for the photo booths, and he had to make sure that such and such would go to photo booth A to meet this person, or photo booth B to go to that person. And I just found the spot to park, mind you, and he was supposed to go watch Stephen Amell's booth. They made him do all that grunt work. And I remember walking up inside, and I had to go in, and they basically told me, "Hey, we need someone to go watch Stephen Amell's booth for us. Can you do it?" Uh-oh.
Wow.
So Jason was texting me. He was so angry. They're like, "Man, they got me doing all this grunt work right now, bro. What the hell, man? I was supposed to go meet Stephen Amell."
And then
I did. I'm at his booth right now. He was so angry with me. He was cursing me on the phone. He was cursing me texting him. I felt so bad, like super, super bad. And he really loves Stephen Amell. Like, I don't know if he's told you that on the podcast he did with you guys, but long story short, I felt so bad for him that I had to go. I mean, I had to go buy a photo booth for him. I had to go buy a $90 photo booth with Stephen Amell just to go make up for lost time with him. And everything was made up right after that. So, and to this day, he still has that photo booth on his wall, or in a special place. I do know that for a fact. But I mean, like, it was a good thing overall, like working MegaCon and stuff like that. I mean, someone actually a wrestling fan pointed me out to the Superman who played on Supergirl, and he was so shocked that I was a wrestler. He's like, "Oh, you're a wrestler, huh? You gonna protect me?" I'm like, "But you're freaking Superman. I mean, you're probably not one of the better Supermans that I remember. You're freaking Superman. Suck my ass."
You could protect me.
Exactly.
You're a superhero.
I work for you. You listen. If you're gonna get me backstage, you're gonna give me to meet the cast, because the cast of Boy Meets World was there.
Oh God,
that was pretty cool. I mean, like, I saw Topanga, and she was pregnant at this time too, and that was important.
Topanga. That's still every kid's childhood nerdy crush.
Yeah. And it's funny, I just got into Boy Meets World around that time too. I didn't get to watch Boy Meets World prior to that, but getting to see Topanga and how the love story unfolded and everything, I ended up seeing Ben Savage instead, so that was rough. The Green. This is an interesting one. The Green Ranger, the original one, Jason David Frank, Tommy, he was there, and I remember being so excited, so giddy that I wanted to meet him. MegaCon was just already starting to close up at this point, and Jason was with me when this happened. I wanted to go say, I was like trying to get his attention. Tommy, hi. And he's taking pictures with all these people. And, I really wanted to just go up there and shake his hand. I was trying to go up there to his booth to go say hi to him. Someone literally stopped me and was like, "Hey, he's not taking any more pictures anymore, and you need to go back to your position." I turned around, and then someone out loud was like, "Yeah, Tommy's going to be a part of my podcast." What the fuck? Like, for real? I got robbed? Tommy, I hold a grudge against that to this day. Against him. I hold a grudge against him on that. I mean, dang, Tommy.
And And then it's not wrestling related, but Tommy ends up coming on Dudes at Ringside podcast and talking about it.
I would be so man. That would break my heart. That would really, really break my heart. Everything about this whole podcast has been retconned.
Okay, this is over now. This is done.
All right, we're done. Don't worry about this guy. He's nobody. But no, there's a couple other stories that I've had too.
I'm just kidding. I'm trying to be the heel of the podcast right now.
Oh, it's okay. Because Tommy can suck my ass. It's all good. I still have Pamela. I'm in Miami. I'm fine with that.
It's still cool. It's still cool with us, Jerry. Don't worry.
All right. That's
so
fine.
Have you ever thought of coming to like? I know Florida is still kind of like East Coast, but like up to like New York,
South. That's South, Joe.
South. Well, yeah, like East, like up like New York, New Jersey, like that kind of like East.
I was originally supposed to go. I was originally going to take a trip up to New Jersey, but there was a situation that ended up happening that I had to go to back to North Carolina, and go do a show up there. But I've never really the only taste I've really gotten on the West Coast was I wouldn't call it West Coast, but West Virginia was like one of the closest things I got into taste stuff, and that is one of my favorite cities up there.
There's a promotion. I know we talked about it before we went on the air. It's called Creative Pro Wrestling. And
yes.
And then there's VPW, where at VPW, everybody's very gimmick heavy. And I think you would have a ball there with the Golden Girls favorite right there.
Well, I know my old tag team partner, Leo Knox, got a chance to go up and do Creative Pro. I mean, like I follow Creative Pro. I followed Creative Pro Wrestling when it first opened up its doors. Like I watched some of the old video footage, like the Shook crew, with Max Caster.
Shook. Amazing.
One of them is Bryce was on a podcast actually.
Oh, really?
Bryce is awesome. So
man. Have you guys ever gotten a chance to talk to Max Caster?
No, he's probably hard to get now.
I mean, never say never.
Jerry, talking to Jerry, probably give us he'll open that side of the doorways for us. We'll unlock
doors. That like I said before I got on the show, that golden door for the rapid fire title, it's open to anybody. So
he'll probably make a rap about us and start making fun of us.
He's watching this podcast right now. I mean, he's probably thinking of his next draft that he's going to write about, and just be like, "Yeah, the skit Jerry swirlz, curly head, no brains, no morals, blah blah blah."
His hair.
He's one of my favorite parts.
I could hear it now, Jerry. His hair is like on his head. Down below, it's all fuzzy. But the why he wears long trunks, it looks like he has someone in a headlock.
Aw, damn. I mean, I'd be proud of that, honestly, in my opinion. But hey, I got the attention of Max Caster. That means something. I mean, like in New York, that is a dream of mine, honestly, to go up there. There's also some. My main goal, and this is shoot. Like I could care less if I don't get signed to WWE. I could even care less if I get signed anywhere for that matter. Like my main goal in wrestling, like I have two goals. One, obviously, is to make a difference, and two is to wrestle for the United Kingdom. I want to go across the country. I mean, like going to Ireland, going to Scotland, and going to England. Those are like my goals for real. Like I'm being very honest. Like I've been a big fan of UK wrestling, like ever since like it exploded. I used to watch a lot of Revolt. I used to watch a lot of Progress. At the time, Jimmy Havoc was one of my favorite wrestlers. I mean, like
we know, yeah.
You should definitely look into
CPW.
CPW in England.
Oh yeah.
Shorty's promotion that was on last night.
ICW. I'm actually I'm pretty cool. I'm good friends with I don't know if you guys know who Lou King Sharp is. He's the he won a tag. He was a tag team champ. He was one of the half of the tag team champions up there, and he's got a mouth. He actually came over to do Atomic Wrestling for a little while, and I got to meet him and talk to him for a little bit. He came over to my school. He was cool. He was a nice fella to talk to. Mm-hmm. I know there was someone else in the UK that I got to meet recently. and his name is I think it's Sam, not Sam Gretel. I actually have to look up his name now, but like, no, I mean, in the UK
You're as
scene,
bad as names
now.
as Joe.
Oh my God, I'm
What's that?
horrible.
I said you're as bad as names as with Joe. Joe always says geek. What's his name again? Wait, Joe, what the hell, man? We're in the middle of a broadcast.
It gets the guess. Before Geek was mod, I would look these people up and I'm like, okay, he looks cool. And when I got you, I was like, okay, Golden Girl. Okay.
I mean, you know, I try to get my foot out the door as much as I possibly can. I mean, shoot, originally I was supposed to be in the military actually and go to college.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but something in my mind was just telling me you need to go do this right now because you have so much more to live for. Because when I was in high school, I had a lot of friends I used to do ROTC. I did AFJ ROTC in Melbourne High School. And a lot of my friends in my little circle, my OTC circle, they would go and get in, but a lot of them would come out, and it was either something drug related or it was something that got them disqualified. One was even like drinking alcohol on the job, literally. And for me, like, I'm very prideful of my country. I'm very prideful of what I do, and I didn't want to be. I was afraid of, like, you know, what could be. I mean, like, I still think about it to this day. I do, and honestly, like, with where I'm at and what I'm doing, I'm in a good position right now. Like, for real. Like, I'm so grateful and so blessed of how everything that has worked out for me. Getting to work with the people that I've gotten to work with, like Swaggle, like the Colognes, like just, and Cesar Bononi from AEW, like, just honestly, everything does happen for a reason, in my opinion. I'm not trying to be touchy-feely right now, but, you know, it's just, yeah, you know, I mean, doing what I'm doing, probably I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now, honestly. I would if I had done the thing that I did, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Actually, Cesar is actually coming to the New York.
Oh, Cesar's going to be on the show.
Yeah, he's going to be no. He's coming to the New York area. Like, he's going to be wrestling in Deer Park. I forgot the name.
Okay.
I think it's called Full Faith Wrestling.
Oh, Wolfsbane. Yeah. I've heard of them. I've never gotten a chance to really, I guess, I go out in that market and actually, like, get a whiff of it. But, you know, traveling to all these shows and such, like, it's crazy how much wrestling is really out there. Like, there's just so much. So much that is out there that it's only the tip of the iceberg. Like I said, I mean, I recently. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Vicky Guerrero's going to be on that show as well.
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
So, yeah,
I was recently talking to someone who was going to be on a show with Vicky Guerrero that I may potentially be in talks with. Hopefully, it works out.
Vicky Guerrero, that's another name that is on our dream list to get on the podcast. Even the Colognes, even Hornswoggle, those are names.
Oh, Swallow! I mean, I am wrestling them this Saturday, so we'll see.
Give a holler. Tell them, hey, you know.
I'll even give a personal shout out to Gangrel. Actually, I'll also give a shout out to all the people that are watching this right now, this Twitch stream. I want to give a shout out to all the people that have supported me since day one. I also want to give a little bit of a shout out to the Dudes at Ringside podcast for inviting me on this show. As a matter of fact, there's another shout out I want to give out to right now. I'm thinking of it.
The Golden Girls?
Yes, it's Betty White. Betty White, I hope you're watching this. I hope you've seen the things that I've done. I've become a fucking champion, a rapid fire champion. As a matter of fact, my door, that we're going to call it the Golden Door. You know, Tony Khan, there's the Forbidden Door that's open right now, but I have the Golden Girls door. And it's open to anybody that wants a shot. And that goes to any promotion whatsoever.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Even you guys are on this podcast, I might want to give a shot. Maybe.
Shove me in front. Geek knows that I'm little, but I know how to do a lot of submissions.
All the heels go after Joe, though, for some reason. All the heels.
I don't like my glasses, I guess. It makes me
get hard about me.
They're like, we're gonna put Joe through a table.
I got told by a California guy he's gonna throw me through a table.
I mean, I
I'm not
might
trained.
break through a table. It could be possible. You never know.
I'm not trained. He's like, oh, you just tuck your chin in. I'm like,
You'll be okay.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Don't worry. Tuck your chin. You won't feel nothing once you go through a table. Actually, you won't even feel anything with light tubes.
oh.
Yeah. Oh, they're
have
not
you-
bad. There's nothing wrong with light tubes. I mean, like, unfortunately, the person that had to show me that, but light tubes are not bad. The best thing I've learned is once you get like hit right here, and kind of like the top part of where your skull is, you won't feel it. Because I remember I did a match. Before I was Jerry Swirlz, I was Jerry Curls, the crooked curly referee that would throw matches out for all the heels, and especially for Brothers in Arms, for Jason Dugan's group. And I remember that it started out as a joke. That's what it was. It was just a joke online, and I was feuding with a color commentator on the show, and we turned the whole thing into a Trump versus Vince McMahon angle. I had to pick a wrestler. He had to pick a wrestler. Ended up my guy ended up losing, getting chased out the building. Had to get dragged out by Garrett Bischoff and Wes Briscoe. Thanks, guys. And preferably got my head shaved in the middle of the ring for everybody to surround.
Wow.
Literally pull their phones out. Yes, this is a real thing. Everybody pulled. If you go through the old Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling YouTube page, look up CJ O'Doyle with Jerry Curls versus Jesse Neal with Greg Allen. That match really made a difference, in my opinion. I mean, there's other stuff that I think personally made me, but I think that was the one that kind of started it all. So
there's some moments.
But that's up to you guys. You know, you can watch my stuff on
We'll definitely do it.
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
It's so cool that it's funny that you'll be on the Magic City roster and we have the shirts. We got finally Geek was in Florida, so
you guys got the stuff in the background. Actually, I've never gotten a Magic City shirt. What the hell, Vinny? I'm on your roster with being initiated into Brothers in Arms, but at this point, you might as well consider me an unofficial official member. Freaking got suspended at the last show wearing hockey masks or Jason Voorhees masks. We weren't even doing anything wrong. We bought tickets and we get kicked out for whatever reason. And still I have not gotten a Magic City shirt.
And the other shirt person you have to wrestle and she does hardcore matches is the lady right there. Her name is Alfie.
What's her name?
Alfie, the Siren of the Spear. She's from London, England. She loves hardcore matches and she doesn't care.
Yeah.
Do you know what other woman loves hardcore matches? Dark Sheik.
Ooh.
She's quite a feisty one. Another one is Lilith Grimm. She's a bit of a badass. She just recently wrestled her brother, and they beat the shit out of each other. That was pretty wild. Sue Young is probably one of the baddest bitches I've ever met, besides Jazz, of course.
Oh yeah, you said you got a chance to be on the roster with Jazz at that event you were at. Jazz
got to come into Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling. She's on a retirement tour right now, and she got to do a 6-woman tag match with Destiny, believe it or not, and Paola Blaze from 90 Day Fiance, who was the reigning women's champion for Atomic Revolutionary Wrestling, and they went up against Renee Michelle, Chrissy Vane, and Jody Morton, and they had Chelsea Durden as a special guest.
Oh, is he gone?
Wow.
Having a lot of technical difficulties today, people.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe we should just end it, Geekers?
No,
there you are. You're good.
Y'all just gonna end me like that? Dang, man. What are y'all plotting behind my back? Just gonna end me? Y'all plotting my demise? Is that what's going on right now?
Maybe Joe he's the heel of the podcast.
I thought you were the heel of the podcast. You trying to lie to me, sucker? I know. You calling me a liar? I ain't calling you a truther. Wow.
Yeah, so Jazz, yeah. More about Jazz. Yeah.
Joe's the heel in disguise.
The
That's what he
sweetest.
is.
Wow, we're having issues here. No, Jazz is one of the sweetest women I've ever met in my life. And she's probably one of the best vets that I've met in the business. She is just what you see in the ring is who you get outside. Like she's a badass, straight
Cool.
up. She just yeah, no, my favorite match with her was against Trish. That was probably some of my favorite matches at the time. Like I owned Backlash 2003, and that's like one of my top 5 matches on that card. Besides, the Los Guerreros and Worst Greatest Tag Team match, and Rikishi and Sean O'Haire, and just a couple other stuff.
Oh.
Do you guys watch anything on Hulu? Because I'm trying to find some stuff to watch or get
Rick
some
and Morty.
recommendations.
Rick and Morty is the best.
That's on my list. That is on my list. I have that. I have that on my list. I actually have Will and Grace on my list.
It's a good show. Will and Grace is good. You know what else? Are you a big fan of the American Horror Story series?
I've gotten the chance to see some clips of it. I've never gotten the chance to actually watch like a full episode. I've heard The Purge is really good to watch too.
What's that? Purge?
The Purge?
That and there's another series. It's sort of a drama, a family drama. It's called it's on Netflix. It's called Atypical. It's about a family, a kid. Atypical. It's about a kid with autism.
Oh, okay.
And you live through his life, like how he goes through. Like first few episode is about how he copes with being like he wants to be normal like everybody else. He wants to live a normal life. Like then you go through, you react how he reacts with the person with autism when he starts getting upset and he's like, he's like,
wow.
Yeah.
That sounds really compelling. I mean, like some of the Netflix shows that I like to watch, Lucifer is one of my all-time favorites.
My mom loves that show. Oh my God.
So awesome. Do not spoil any. I have not seen the news. I've stopped. This is as far as I'm in. Like I got up to the part where God comes in.
Oh geez. I think my mom's up to the new season. I think she is.
I don't want to hear any spoilers. I can't hear it.
Nope.
I don't even want to hear any more spoilers about any Marvel movie that I have not seen yet. I had to avoid. Well, I mean, like I had to go back and watch on Disney Plus, like all the Star Wars movies, and kind of just go through that and kind of see what I've missed, and like kind of put the chronological time order. And you have no idea how hard it was to get past the Phantom Menace. It was hard. It was. That's probably one of my worst. I'm sorry, that's one of my worst Star Wars movies. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, Westworld's a really good show. It's on HBO.
Oh, what is it?
Yeah, Westworld.
Oh, Westworld. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, that's a shot.
It's based on the movie from the what's it? The 80s, the 70s.
70s and 80s. Okay.
Yeah, and it's an HBO series. It's actually really good. It has Anthony Hopkins in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's actually really, really good, dude. It's like okay, the first 5 episodes are kind of like slow, but once you start getting past those 5 first episodes, you're like.
See, I'm a guy of action, like immediately. Like I love stuff, or if it's funny. Like if it's funny in the beginning, I'm definitely gonna watch it. If it's action in the beginning, then yes. Like. It's gonna sound weird, but the one I don't know if you remember this TV show on Netflix with the Aziz Ansari. I forgot what it was. Masters of None. That was a good show. I loved Masters of None. Like
never seen it.
Never seen it?
No.
Oh my God. You heal. It's so good.
There's another show.
I told you I'm the biggest heel of the podcast right there.
There's Glow, that wrestling show on Netflix that everybody loved to watch for a while.
Heels.
Oh, Glow, yes. I actually, with Allison Brie, I actually got a chance to watch a little bit of those episodes. Okay, awesome. It wasn't based on the actual promotion Glow, which was weird.
Yeah.
But it had some parallels towards it. I mean, like I never got a chance to watch the interviews of all of it. I mean, I recently watched QT Marshall's wrestling movie, The Wrestler, and that was pretty cool, honestly.
That was a good movie.
Sad. That movie was sad.
What?
The Wrestler was sad.
Oh yeah, that was the actual wrestler movie. Yes,
yeah, the Wrestler.
Yeah.
That was a very touching movie for
That made
me.
me cry. In the movie, I
And
cried.
especially being in the business now and actually like learning about that prior, like it's weird sometimes how it works out.
It was sad. It's like he had all these problems and everything, and then yeah,
And he had to overcome so much adversity. Like literally, I think one of the saddest moments in me is like when he's in like the deli and he's like slicing lunch meat for this guy, and he's pretty much like down on himself, and just kind of once he's slicing, someone finally recognizes him as Mickey Rourke, and like both his worlds have come in. And that's one of the things that I learned is try not to blend it in, but like at the same time I'm also proud to say that I have all the accomplishments that I have, and I think it's just like it's a different time from where it is to what is at now, and seeing that kind of like struck me. He's like throwing shit in the fucking deli. He's like saying, "I fucking quit." Jammed his finger in the fucking. And I used to work in the deli. Like that was Publix. Like I used to like Publix was one of my first jobs, and I actually did the deli. And I was always so afraid of like slicing meat and stuff. I'm like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be the actual fucking wrestler. I'm fucking jam my finger just now. Shit. Looking down, put it on the scale. All right, your total, ma'am, comes out to $6.97. Would you like that wrapped up, or can I recommend this and that, the other?
Yeah. There's also a new series that it's funny when I keep seeing the clips, I keep commenting as dudes at ringside, hey, you guys get the producer to come on the show. We'll talk about the show. It's called Heels.
Ooh, the Stars TV show?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That I've heard, like, again from Jason, that it's basically Stephen Amell as the Arrow, but as a wrestler.
If anyway, wrestling too. If they're watching this, we would love to have the producer come on the show and just talk about the show.
That would be pretty interesting. I think producer. He's actually. I think he used to be a wrestler, actually, if I'm not mistaken, right? Or am I wrong on that end? But just to have like such an in-depth on indie wrestling is just kind of awe-inspiring, and how it's portrayed and how it's actually like showcased. Like, this is real. Fuck. I mean, CM Punk on the show was pretty hilarious. His character was based on Tracy Smothers, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah, that was confirmed on that's basically what it was. Like the wild man going around going like this and kind of being that little outlandish, crazy wild man.
Crazy.
They also had what you call it? What was I gonna say? Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, like that series. I even sent them a message like, "Hey, I sent them our spiel like, hey, you guys can come on the show. We'd like to have you on to talk about the show." I know it's like they probably get a billion messages in their DM, so they probably never see our thing. But that'd be crazy.
It's a fresh show too, so I think that might be a thing as well. I mean, like they're probably getting like such an overview of like so many interviews and stuff like that, and like just fucking, oh, I'm being interviewed by this person right now. No, I got this person going on right now. Oh shit. Just a long list. It's a big waiting list.
Get them on because it's a wrestling show and we're a wrestling podcast.
What would be really cool to do an interview? Gangrel. He'd be really awesome.
Gangrel would be a cool interview.
I would love to get a promo from Gangrel, but would we be able to use that the theme song?
Maybe. I think Gangrel with his, like doing his own podcast and everything, he's still busy, but I feel like he wouldn't mind being on there. I mean, like, I've actually Gangrel was one of the first few people that I got to meet as well in the business, and he was, man, it's amazing how at his age he's still wrestling in 2021.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, he took a freaking code red from Jason.
Wow.
Like, that's pretty wild, to say the least.
But another good
bangs are poppins. You know that, right? They just.
Yeah, that I didn't even know that. I thought there was real teeth for all these years.
I was like, they were for a while, and then I guess his daughter got scared or whatever, so he decided to make him a something like that. It was some kind of thing he was talking about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because they were talking about his daughter and
how she used to be so scared late at night, and how his fangs would like freak her out, and basically so. That makes so much sense.
That's a good dad. That's a sign of a good dad right there. Like you change something for your daughter,
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, like, especially being a father in the business, like, I know I've come across so many workers that are dads in the business, and like, just to still do the things that they do, it's mind blowing, really.
And another good series is Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring is
The
fantastic.
New Jack document episode is one of my all-time favorites. I love it. It is so gritty and so real. That is how much I love it. And like New Jack, I don't care. I have so much respect for him for what he's done. Yeah, I feel like later on as the episode progresses, like you can see like he's still New Jack, but like he's kind of a changed man from what he was like from back then to like, I mean, like before his passing, of course, like what he did, like he was in a good state of mind to be away from all the coke and to be away from all that stuff that he had to put himself through. It's just not showing. I actually met New Jack at a show one time. This is a funny story. Before I was even in the business, this is supposed to be a birthday present for me. Keep in mind, it's being promoted as all these old ECW legends are supposed to be here. Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, Raven, Balls Mahoney, who was their champion, New Jack, Steve Corino, all of these old ECW legends are supposed to be like an ECW reunion show. We get to there, and it's out of the National Guard Armory. I'm like 13, maybe 14 years old, big fat kid that just loved wrestling and knew all these names from like the old ECW that transitioned into the new ECW. We get there, and out of all those names I just listed, only 2 showed up: Steve Corino and New Jack. So it was a big letdown already. Jesse Neal was there, so I mean that kind of made up for some lost time. Christina Von Eerie, Leva Bates was on the show before she became like the Leva Bates that we all now know on AEW. The Blue Pants. Then the show goes on, and there's a lot of these indie guys that are on there. Like actually, some of them that got signed at WWE. Sam Shaw was on there. That was when he just got out of being a Dudley student. He was on there. One of the guys from Tough Enough was on there. And as the show goes on, the main event is supposed to be billed as a hardcore match, but it's two guys who I've never seen, never heard of before, and New Jack. And this is the one where there's YouTube video footage of this, obviously. New Jack went and hit a chair on Buddy. And when he cracked the chair on him, like it wasn't like pulled back or anything. Like chair shots are fucking real. If anybody's ever felt them, like he hit him and he actually busted him open. Ooh. Like if you look at the footage, like he's going down and he's laying down like this, and actual blood, it looks like he's dead. People are like chanting around, "Yo, he's fucking dead. That dude is dead right now. He's fucking dead." That was when we left. Like my dad just took me, my baby sister, and my twin half sisters, and we decided to just up and leave right there. So that was quite a birthday present for me.
Someone almost died.
Yeah, thanks, Dad.
Good birthday present.
I mean, out of all of it, though, I mean, I got to see Jillian Hall, Steve Corino, Jesse Neal, and all these other guys that would go on to be signed to NXT or WWE or AEW, and just kind of see where they would end up in. That was pretty. I mean, like to me, that was kind of cool. So I didn't end up on such a sour note, but like, yeah, that was my experience in New Jack in person.
So great. Did you ever get a chance to like actually meet him again as an adult, or just you?
I never really, because he was around during the time when like he was just retiring. Oh God. Speaking of old ECW stars, we had this ARW ECW show. Now, keep in mind, you actually meet all these guys in real life. It's pretty awe-inspiring to say the least. But when you're new and you have to go pick all these people up at the airport from different time zones and stuff like that, and big suburban, it can get a little crowded, can get a little crazy. I think one of the biggest ones was, I really don't want to talk about this because it was just such a bad situation. So I don't know if he's cleaned up his act or not, but the Sandman, he did a show. She did the show with us, and first time he came to Atomic before, and he was fine the first time around. But when he came the second time, it was like the old Sandman from the 90s. That was just so we pick him up from the airport and drop him off. All's fine and everything, and the show goes on. Sandman messes up the finish of the match. Long story short, the match was supposed to go like 10 minutes. They ended up going like 3 or 4.
Ooh.
So the finish. So what ends up happening, and he gets on the microphone. He's pissant drunk, freaking. He's thinking like this is all like 90s, and he's looking over at one of the workers, and he's like, "Oh, you got the strap now, huh? Oh, good for you. You gonna retire with the strap now or something?" It was just bad. Oh, and the worst part was we were in Cocoa, Florida. He announced it as Orlando, Florida.
Oh, jeez.
The whole crowd was so pissed. Fuck you, Orlando. Fuck you, Orlando. Like, it was in the back. You could have heard a pin drop. Honestly, that's how bad the situation was. So, but I mean, it was what it was. I mean, I really hope he's cleaned up his act now. No one should ever have to go through what they're going through. Honestly,
going out. You've been seeing him a lot with like the reunion. I see a few pictures of all of them all together and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I did see. I thought I saw a picture of that. Him pouring beer on Katie Forbes. That's great.
That lives near where I live in Pennsylvania is, I don't know if you ever heard of him.
That is bad.
Well, and he's back.
Oh, what was that? Sorry, I cut out.
I don't know if you ever heard of Jason Knight.
Yes, I know who. That was
Impact Players?
Yeah, from the Impact Players. That's right. He was dressed incredible in Lance Storm's big bodyguard.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Say it again.
He lives by me, and I've been friends with him for like 13 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I used to work at Walmart as a greeter, and he used to come in and talk to like, I recognize I was doing wrestlers like, oh, I know you from this or that, so like we would talk all the time, and then I started the podcast, and he gave me his number, and I was going to see Geek to drop off his banner that he has behind me, barely could see it, but he had his. So I was on the phone with him. I said, "You want to come on the podcast on I guess it's like October. It's a Monday." And he was like, "Date and time." I told him the date and time, and he's like, "All right, I'll come on." I thought Geek was gonna have a heart attack when I told him. I was like, "Jason Knight from ECW." He's like,
"Oh shit!"
I don't watch anything new, and like you could tell your story. He's like, "Let's just let him tell stories all night." Let him just tell his stories. Like, he doesn't have to like talk about wrestling now. We could talk about his stuff. That's all. Yeah. And I know him. He comes into my job now, Key Food, all the time.
He's a big dude too. Like he was like solid, like
dude,
mass on it.
If I had a problem with the manager in Key Food beside my any of my associates that bug me, I'd be like, "Hey, Jason,
get him, crush him, let's crush him like the Hulk." So there's a lot of like Hulk movies that are out there. I don't know why, but like the 2003 one, even for the bad CGI, was not bad for what it was. Like
Hulk one, which Hulk one would you say legitly would be like your favorite Hulk movie out of every movie?
Out of every movie, the one, I mean.
If you just want to end it, we could just end it real quick, dude.
Being in that movie, like, kind of just solidified him as an actor, and he would go on to do all these other movies in time. I mean, like, obviously, my real favorite superhero is the Flash. Like, I love the TV. The TV show was such a, I could talk about that nonstop. Fucking Barry and Iris's wedding. I mean, like, honestly, I would have been fine if the show ended right there, but they kept going and going with that.
Yeah, I think we should
random mass episode.
Jerry, if you want to end it real quick, you keep fading it out. So if you want to end it,
if you want to end it, we can end it.
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
I
mean, like, if I'm hogging up time right now. I mean,
no. We just you're not hogging any time. It's getting a little late, and I know a lot of our crowd probably wants to go to bed. So,
oh, gotcha. Oh,
now that
for an hour.
Okay. So just tell our fans goodbye.
Where they can find you? Oh,
Yep.
or not? Yeah, that's why.
Where can our fans find you?
Especially like right now.
Where,
Hopefully, we can redo this again. Hopefully.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely,
Oh,
dude.
You're awesome. You're an awesome guest. You had some fun stuff we were talking about. Thank you,
dude. Your stories were awesome, and we want to hear more. And so,
I want to thank you so much for taking your time out of your fun, busy day, hanging out, running around with Pamela on the beaches, and hanging out, playing Parcheesi with the Golden Girls. You know, all that fun stuff with the girls. So, how can our fans find you? And do you have any upcoming events you want to talk about? Plug. Okay. Beat2K.
So, I just want to thank everyone from the chat for joining us today. Thank you so much.
Putting up with our crap.
But I want to thank our guest Jerry swirlz for coming on the show. He was awesome, telling all his fucking awesome stories.
Yeah.
So those stories were amazing. We can't wait to hear more. Can't wait to have Jerry back on the podcast. And Joe?
Just keep watching, keep sharing, keep telling your friends about us, and we will see you for episode 94 on Thursday. See you then.